And that was the messed up part. She justified it. Well, guys are pigs. I remember one time over coffee, she told me all about it. Guys are pigs. They deserve it. They're the way they... Hey everybody, Stephen Bastian with another episode of The Relationship Life. This episode is episode 15, The Dark Side. I know my Star Wars fans probably saw this and went, ooh, he's going to talk about Star Wars. Well, that's Carpe Nerdium. You want to talk about Star Wars, we're going to talk about it on Carpe Nerdium. And for my Carpe Nerdium fans, there are new episodes coming soon. I've talked to Jessica. We got a whole new format. We used to do hour-long shows, and it's a little long. So we're going to split it up, pre-record, split it up, and it'll be more fun. But we're going to talk about the dark side. Now, the dark side of dating. And I'm kind of afraid to talk about this. And the reason I'm afraid to talk about this is unscrupulous people can take what I say and use it. I'm not putting it out there for that purpose. I'm putting it out there as a warning. As a warning. To let you guys know what happens. You know, it's not all the time, but it can happen. And you've got to be on your guard. And the reason I called it the dark side is it is kind of a Star Wars reference in that it's the dark side of the Force. And people use almost Jedi mind tricks in a way. They use manipulation, tactics, agendas, goals. I talked about on yesterday's show, I talked about loss. And, you know, they say in Star Wars, fear is path to the dark side. Well, fear of loss makes us do things that we would never normally do. That fear of loss,
you will not take it from me,
can lead you to the dark side. And your intentions may actually start out good. You may actually think, okay, I'm gonna play this game a little bit, and I'm gonna manipulate this a little bit, but it's for the right reasons. It's to get into the relationship. I know I'm right for this person, and I know this person's right for me. But some people use the dark side for unscrupulous reasons because they have their own agenda and they're selfish. And like I said, I'm afraid to put this out there because it's very dangerous stuff. I'm hoping that people that watch this show are here because they want to learn about relationships and they want to talk about relationships and start a conversation and not learn how to use what I say for evil. And some of the stuff I'm going to tell you is pretty damn evil.
What do you desire more than anything else in this life?
Yesterday in my show about loss, I talked about the guy that's waiting, that she's done, or she's getting to be done. She's working on her exit plan. And she's talking to another guy, or guys. And there's a guy that really likes her, and I had said that he's going to be almost sabotaging the guy she's with. He's going to be like, oh, baby, I would never do something like that. Remember that? If you watch the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you're that guy, and your intentions are sincere, you sincerely think that you're better for her than he is, and you know that relationship is coming to an end, she's made it known to you that I'm not going to be married to this guy for any more than a year. I mean, we're done. I'm finding a way out of this. I'm getting out of this, and I need you to be my best friend right now because I need support, and when this is over, you and I are going to have a long talk. If you're in that situation and you're that guy, I want to give you a little bit of a warning. Don't ever attack the guy she's with. Now, you think that sounds a little counterintuitive, like if she says, yeah, he never pays attention to me, he never kisses me, he never does this or that, and you're like, yeah, that's awful, he's a jerk. You need to leave this guy. He's an asshole. Pardon my French. Don't do that. Because you're going to force her to defend him. If you really think you're better than he is, and you really think she would be happier with you, and she's pretty much done. She's told you time and again, I can't handle him anymore, and she's crying on the phone to you or crying in person to you and telling you, I can't handle this anymore, I'm losing my mind, and you feel bad for her, and you're like, baby, you can do better. Don't attack him. You attack him a little bit, but be careful. Now, don't go the other route. Don't defend him. Don't sit there and say, listen, give him another chance, and maybe he's doing this, and maybe he's doing that. And the reason I say don't defend him is because if you defend him, it's not that you're right. Now you think, okay, you're probably thinking I'm going to say, well, if you defend him, she may look at him differently and you'll lose her. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. If you help them fix their relationship, you're a hero and you're self-sacrificing. I applaud you. Good job. You gave up someone you love for her own happiness and her own well-being and for the good of the many, for the good of them. The reason I say don't defend him is because if she's considering leaving him and she's really done, she may look at you and think you're just like him, that you think like him. And it may throw up a red flag in her that may not necessarily be true. So don't overcompensate. Be careful with that. You got to walk a really fine line with that thing. The best thing to do is stay out of it. Just listen. Just be an ear. Be her rock. Be someone that she can cry to and you understand. But don't take sides. Either way. Just be cool and wait your turn. Either she's going to leave him and she's going to choose you. She's going to leave him and she's going to play the field and figure out what she wants and hopefully eventually choose you or find someone else. And like I told you yesterday, you can't control that. No matter how hard you hold on, the tighter you hold on, the more you're going to lose her. You just got to let that play out the way it plays out. Or she's going to fix it. In which case, like I told you in Destiny, it wasn't meant to be.
Destiny! Destiny! No escaping, that's for me!
I also touched on that women, when they get out of a relationship, especially if they've been in a long-term relationship, that, they might have a wild child phase and they may start sleeping around. And people will think of them as sluts. I didn't mean to imply that all women do that. I didn't mean to imply that women do that at all. What I meant to say by that is that, when you get free from that cage, your first instinct is to fly free. I'm free. I'm free of his grip. I'm free of his control. I'm free of his jealousy. I've been with him for years. I need to see what's out there. I'm going to have some fun. This is my fun time. Before I get in another serious relationship, I'm going to have some fun. And rightfully so. You should. But be careful. As we're going to get into in this episode on the dark side, there are pitfalls. There are evil people in this world that do not have your best interest at heart. And they will prey on you. Now, you don't even have to sleep. This is the messed up part. You don't even have to sleep around. Let's say you're a female and you're getting out of a relationship that you've been in for a long time, as I said. And you decide, I'm just going to date. I'm going to see what's out there. I'm going to date 3 or 4 or 5 different people, and I'm going to kind of weigh everything out and see what's available, see what's going on in the dating world, have some fun, party with my friends, go on dates. My ex-husband never took me out on dates, or my ex-boyfriend stopped dating me once we moved in together, and we haven't been on a date in months. I need to date. I want someone to take me out to dinner. I want someone to take me to the movies. I want someone to play mini golf with me. I want to have fun like I used to. You'd think that's a great idea. And it is. It's fun. But they're pitfalls. Now, I'm not trying to be all negative Nancy, but I'm just letting you know that there comes, that there can be a price to that. And then the price to that is some guys are dicks. No other way to put it. You don't have to go out and sleep around to be labeled promiscuous or a slut. Because here's the ugly truth. You've heard the expression locker room talk? You could go out with a guy, let's say you go out with a guy named Jimmy, and he picks you up, or you meet him for dinner, and you have dinner with him, and you're having a great time. You're laughing, you're joking, you're talking, you're having fun. You go for a walk in a park, and you're just talking. Maybe you exchange a little kiss. And then you go home. Innocent. It's pure, it's innocent, it's wonderful. You had a great time. He goes home to his friends. His friends call him up the next day, say, hey, I heard you went out with so-and-so last night. Yeah, man, by 8 o'clock, she had her head in my lap. I mean, that's what guys do. You don't have to sleep around to get a reputation. Because guys talk about it. And they don't want to, and the reason they do it is they're not being jerks about it. They're not trying to be dicks. They're just trying to save face. They don't want to tell their guy friends, yeah, we went out and we had a good time and we played mini golf and we went for a walk and we were holding hands and it was so much fun. You're right. You are absolutely right, Alyssa. Only some guys are dicks. But we guys, we talk and we embellish. You know, and you got to be careful, because if you date too many people, like, it's okay to go out on a date. If you go out on a date with a guy and you go out on like, in other words, what I'm saying is, if you're going to date, don't, and you even if you serial date, focus on one at a time. Don't go out with Jimmy on Tuesday, Paul on Wednesday, and Roger on Friday. Because people are going to take a look at you and go, what's really going on? Be careful. Take things slow. This is not a race. It's not a rush. You got plenty of time. That's all I'm saying is take your time. Date one at a time. And hope you're not dating a guy that's going to lie about you. So the dark side, as I said, I'm afraid to tell you guys this stuff because it's dangerous material. This can be twisted and used for dark purposes, and I don't want to arm people with information that they can use and hurt someone. So I'm kind of afraid to do that. And if you are that person, get help.
Why exactly are you doing this?
If I fake it, then I don't have it.
I'm not going to attack just guys. I'm going to be equal. Because, now, you know I never mention names, but I'm going to mention names today because I want to put these people out there. See, the internet is permanent. Anything you do on the internet, pictures, whatever. I know, you remember what happened to Jennifer Lawrence. She was sending pictures to her boyfriend. Next thing you know, somebody hacked her phone and those pictures were all over the internet. You got to be careful what you do with pictures. Pictures can bite you in the butt. Go online. I mean, you're going to be disgusted if you do this. I don't recommend it, but go online and pull up any major actress's name. I guarantee you, if you turn your filters off, you will find pictures that they posed in bikinis. They posed in bathing suits. They posed in just whatever. And guys will Photoshop those pictures, and they're good at it, to where it looks like she was bottomless with her legs open or banging some dude. Be careful what you put on the internet, because it can come back to bite you one day and ruin you. So like I said, I don't usually mention names, but today I am, because these people deserve to be put out on Front Street, and I want it on the internet for all time, and I want people to be aware of what these people do. I knew a girl named Bethany Woods in Wilmington. She's got to be in her 40s now. And Bethany, if you're watching this, I don't care if you're mad at me. Get mad at me, because I know your game. Bethany and I became friends. And she noticed right away that I was smarter than most people. She even commented, she said, God, you're really smart. You really know a lot of stuff. So she shouldn't try to game me, because she knew I would catch on to it. But we became friends. And we hung out a lot. I've been to her apartment, and her apartment was nice. I mean, she had this nice apartment. She had a game system that was incredible. It was, and I'm sure you've heard of these. They probably buy them on Amazon now, but this was back before this was readily available. She had a tower. Okay, I have a tower, and I'm on a PC now, and she had a tower that had a PS system, an Xbox system, and a PC system all in the same tower. All she had to do was switch between the three. She's playing a game. Now me, I'm a PC gamer. PC gamers rock. I know that's going to start a whole debate right there with my nerds. But no, she had all three in one system. And I said, where'd you get that? And she told me, oh, this guy I was seeing, he built them, and he built me one. I was like, how much did that cost you? She's like, nothing. He built it for me. I was like, cool. She had nice furniture. She had a nice everything. Everything was great. And she didn't even have a job. This girl never worked. I thought she was a trust fund baby. One day, you know how when you're talking to somebody and you know somebody and you're friends with somebody and they start to say things to you that make you go, wait a minute, that's not right. That can't be right. Something wrong with that. There's something fishy about that. One day she told me about, I was like, what'd you do last night? She said, I went on a date with so-and-so. I'm not going to put the guys' names out there. I went on a date with so-and-so. She's like, yeah, how'd it go? Oh, it was great. We went out to dinner, and then we ended up at Best Buy, and he bought me a brand new Bose gaming headset. I was like, man, those things are expensive. She's like, I know. He just bought it for me. I was looking at it, and I held it up, and I was like, oh, I love this. And he was like, I'll get it for you, baby. And she was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And he bought it for her. Long story short, the next day she told me about this next guy that she was seeing, and it was like guy after guy after guy after guy. And the next guy paid her electric bill. And I was like, you just asked him to pay your electric bill? I was like, no. I told him my electric was going to be shut off, and he paid it for me. I said, are you sleeping with these guys? She's like, no, that's the beautiful thing. I don't have to. Now, she told me if the guy was really hot or really wealthy, she would sleep with him. But for the most part, she was using guys. She was getting her rent paid, her electric paid, her cable bill paid, her car payment made. She had 10 or 15 guys that she was playing this game with. And she would rotate her stock. When the guy starts getting wise to it and starts feeling I'm being used, she'd have another one waiting to step up. That's how she did her business. That's kind of messed up if you think about it. I mean, she was stringing guys along to get what she wanted. And she was proud of it. And that was the messed up part. She justified it. Well, guys are pigs. I remember one time over coffee, she told me all about it. Guys are pigs. They deserve it. The way they treated me and the way they treat other women, they deserve it. Some do. But it's still really messed up. Now, guys will prey on women too. Especially, like I told you in another earlier episode, the MILF. You know, the woman that has kids and has baggage, and he's going to prey on that. He's going to use that to his advantage. He'll manipulate. He'll promise He'll play on her insecurities. You know, he'll be slow to text. He'll flake out on her. He'll gaslight her, make her think she's the crazy one. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She starts to doubt herself. Gives her backhanded compliments. I explained those the other day. I don't like my front teeth. It makes me look like a beaver. Yeah, but you look like such a cute beaver. That's messed up. You know what you're doing. You're making her more insecure, so she's going to feel like she can't get a hot guy, so she's going to go after you. It can be effective, don't get me wrong, but it's wrong. It's dark. And there's a million dating coaches you can look up online that'll give you all of these secrets freely and proud of it. She texts you in the morning, wait 3 hours. Make her wonder who you're talking to. Talk about other women that you're interested in or that you think you like. Or that make her think you like other women. Make her think there's competition. Dark tactics. Dark tactics. Give her attention and then pull back and make her confused. Wait, he acted like he liked me. Now he's acting like he doesn't. I don't know whether he likes me or not. Suddenly all she's doing is thinking about you. Don't do that. You don't have to play that game. Because even if you win, you lose. Tell you a story about a guy named Charles. He went by the name Chuck. He was a good friend of mine. I remember I told you that story about Christina. Christina had a friend named Dawn. And they were very close. We all used to hang out together. Me, Dawn, and Christina used to go to clubs down in Wilmington, and we would party, have a lot of fun. And we met up with this guy one time named Charles. He went by Chuck. He was from the Dominican Republic. Really nice guy, Latino. And Dawn liked him almost instantly, but she friend-zoned him the same way Christina friend-zoned me. And Chuck and I would actually commiserate. You know, Chuck and I would get together for coffee. We all would hang out as a group at that point, and Chuck and I sometimes got together for coffee or beer or whatever. We would go have a beer together at a bar, and we would commiserate. You know, God, Christina, it's like, I love her so much, but she's just not, I'm not getting any traction with this girl. He's like, I know, it's the same way with Dawn. I'm never going to get any traction with this girl. Well, one day, Chuck went to Dawn's house, and they were talking, and he was on his game. He was being charming and sweet. She was having an off day, and he got to kiss her. She worked night shift at that point. She was third shift, so she had to go to work, but she told him, come over tomorrow and get here a little earlier. I want to spend some time with you. So he knew what time it was. He knew he was finally going to get what he wanted. See, I had every opportunity to sleep with Christina many times. There were quite a few times. Christina was at my house. There was one time, and I actually put the story in the Nice Guy Syndrome. It's part of the script. We were just watching a movie together, and we started playing a drinking game. That every time we were watching, what was that movie? Shakespeare in Love. And every time they said the word play, we had to take a drink. Well, I said the word play in that movie a lot. And so she got hammered. Most guys would jump all over that. See, I don't sleep with drunk women. Ever. Well, unless I'm in a relationship with her. I mean, if we're in a relationship and she gets drunk, yeah, it's game on. We're both drinking together, it's game on. We're in a relationship. I'm talking about if I've never slept with her or I meet her at a bar. If I meet a girl at a bar and she's been drinking and she's hammered, I won't sleep with her because to me that's tantamount to rape. She's not responsible for her actions. And people will argue against it. Yes, she is. She knows what she's doing. She's inebriated. She's not thinking clearly. And it's dangerous for guys because you do that. She wakes up the next morning and she's like, what have I done? He took advantage of me. Hashtag me too. She was all over him. That night, she was like, baby, let's get together. She was excited about it. She wanted to do it. She was hammered. Next morning, she doesn't remember the fact that she was all over him. He's thinking, I'm going to get lucky. She wakes up the next morning. She's saying, you took advantage of me, you son of a... You know what I mean? So I never sleep with drunk women. And Christina was hammered. She straddled me and started kissing me. I literally pushed her off of me. I said, no. Not now. No, not like this. I wanted it to be... See, I'm a romantic. I wanted it to be special. I didn't want the first time that I'm going to sleep with the love of my life to be drunk. Are you kidding me? No. It was funny because I picked her up and she threw up and I picked her up and she was at my house and put her in my bed. And I said, I'm gonna put you in bed. And she goes, I'm going to bed with Stephen and Bastian. I put her in bed, tucked her in, took her shoes off, tucked her in, kissed her on the forehead, turned off the light. She was out. I slept on the couch. Didn't want it like that. Chuck had other plans. So we had gotten together for coffee the next morning. And I was like, how'd it go last night? You spent time with Dawn. He's like, oh man, it was great. We were kissing. We were having fun. I was like, awesome, dude. She wants me to come over tonight. She wants to spend time with me. You know what that means, don't you? I'm like, yeah, is that what you want? He's like, oh yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I was like, good. Maybe that'll seal the deal. You know, maybe you'll finally get your girl. He then said something that dark. And like I said, I'm scared to tell you this kind of thing. It's really messed up. He told me, he goes, oh, I guarantee she'll be with me for the rest of my life. I've got a plan. It's like, really, what's your plan? He's like, you can't say anything. I'm like, bro code, dude. You know, bros before the bro code. I was like, bro code, dude. I ain't going to say nothing. What's up? He says, well, I bought condoms. I'm like, that's smart. He goes, no, listen. I took a pin and I poked a hole through every package right in the center. He said, the condom will either leak or break. She doesn't use contraception. She can't. It affects her body. And I was like, wait, what are you saying? And he's like, I'm going to knock her up. And then I'm going to tell her I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to step up and I'm going to be there for her. And we're going to do this together. And then eventually we're going to get married and we're going to live happily ever after. I was like, dude, you're kidding, right? I thought he was joking. I'm like, you're joking, right? Tell me you're kidding. He's like, no, man, it's foolproof. My cousin did it. They've been married for 10 years. They got 3 kids now. I said, okay. I got out of there. I was on the phone to Christina, like, as soon as I left the parking lot of that Starbucks. Like, I was on, it wasn't Starbucks, it was Port City Java. I was on the phone with Christina. Christina goes, you need to call Dawn. I had Dawn's number too. So you need to tell her. You need to tell her. I can't tell her that. You need to tell her. I told Dawn, and Dawn was like, I'm gonna tell him off. I said, don't. I said, sweetheart, ghost him. Block him, unfriend him, ghost him. Tell him, text him, say, I never want to see you again, and ghost him. There's no, you can't, nothing good's going to come out of that conversation. Just done. He and I almost got in a fight over it. Of course, he knew I said something. He was pissed. Oh, he was pissed. Fortunately, he was like 20 pounds lighter than me and had no fight game. I just laughed at him. But we almost got in a fight over it. I wasn't going to let him do that to her. It's wrong. Now, you think that story's bad enough, right? Oh, I got a worse one. I got a worse one. I'm kind of scared to tell you this one, too. Guy named Philip Maddox. Philip, if you're watching this, go F yourself. Anytime, anywhere, buddy. Anytime, anywhere. I mean that sincerely. Name the place and time. I'll meet you. Philip Maddox. One day, he was in love with this girl for a long time. He dated her off and on. He had genital herpes. And he was very insecure about it. And I told him, I said, there are precautions you can take. You could take medication for that. I said, it's actually very common. 85% of the population has it. It can be dealt with, and it can be managed. And he knew that. And he did. He was careful. Until he announced his engagement. I'm not going to mention her name because that's not fair to her. They're not together anymore. She found out. I didn't know her well enough to tell her. I couldn't. I didn't have any way to contact her, but what he did was abhorrent. He slept with her. Now, she had an IUD, so she wasn't worried about getting pregnant. And she was dating other guys in the beginning. When she was dating him, she was dating other guys. And she was sleeping with a few of them. He knew that. He was very jealous about it, as a matter of fact. He finally got his chance up to bat, as it were. And the first few times they used protection, he was very careful. Then one day he raw dogs it with her. She had no idea. No idea. He had not talked to her about it. So a month later, she calls him and says, listen, I got bad news. I have herpes. And he was like, what? What do you mean you have herpes? He acted all mad about it. I got to go get tested. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm sure everything's okay. A month later, he calls her up and tells her not only does he have it, but he got it from her. Made her think she got it from somebody else that she was sleeping with. And when she was all apologetic, he was like, look, well, it is what it is. I mean, what are we going to do now? I guess we have to be together. I mean, who's going to date either one of us now? We're screwed. Horrible. Deplorable. Dark side. She had no idea. She was blindsided by this. He set it up. He figured if he gave her the same disease he had, that he would get the girl because she would have no other choice. So there's some people in this world that are really, really dark side. really evil. You've got to be careful. Now, I know you're thinking, well, damn, what's the point in even dating anybody? You vet people. You talk to them. You take it slow. It's not a race. You don't have to jump into bed with people. Talk to their friends. Find out about them. If you were to go get a job, you were to apply for a job, what's that job going to do? They're going to call your references. They're going to call your former boss. I'm not saying this is a smart idea, but it's not actually a stupid idea either, that to find out who their ex is. Now, this really doesn't work. It is kind of stupid, because if you contact their ex and say, hey, what was he like in a relationship, or what was she like in a relationship? Of course, the guy's going to say she's batshit crazy, because it's bitterness. It's very rare. I mean, I introduced my ex-wife to her new husband, but I'm the exception to the rule. You've got to be careful. You've got to vet them. You've got to get to know them well. I've said in a previous episode, the guy that's going to wait 5, 6, 7, 8 dates, 8 weeks to be with you, he might be a little bit for real. The guy that wants to jump into bed with you on the second date and is not going to wait past the 4th, screw him. The girl that you go on a date with, and by the end of dinner, she's all over you like a cheap suit. No, well, run, dude, because if she's doing that with you, she's done it with a lot of others. You got to be careful. You got to be on your guard and watch out for the dark side. Now, tomorrow's episode is going to be called The Light Side. And I'm going to talk about the good things. I know I'm a really negative Nancy on this show a lot of times. I'm just giving out warnings and letting you guys know what's going on. But we're going to start transitioning this show to the fun stuff. Date ideas, things to do to fix your relationship, things to do to make your relationship better, add spice. I might do another After Dark series, After Dark episode where we talk about adding spice to your relationship, role-playing and fun stuff, and things to do on a first date. Ideas and fun things. And we're going to talk about the light side tomorrow. We're going to talk about how to find the person that is meant for you, and how to make sure that that relationship does work without being pushy or pressuring or stuff like that. What to look for in a person. We all look for the red flags, but what about the good flags? What about the flags that make you go, oh, this guy's awesome. This girl's awesome. So we're going to talk about the light side tomorrow in episode 16. Please share this if you like it. Share this page if you like it. I need to get followers. I want to transition over to YouTube permanently so that I can start building followers. Also, if you like what I'm saying as far as relationships, I wrote a romance novel called The Third Horse. It's on Amazon. You can look it up. It's part 1 and part 2. There's 2 books, book 1 and book 2. You can order it and read it. It's a fun romantic story about a wealthy rich guy named Devin, who he's got everything anybody could ever want in life. He's a billionaire. He's got everything you can ever want. And I tell the story at the same time of a very poor girl who has nothing, and how their lives eventually intertwine. And like I said, it's a romance. And it could get a little steamy in places, but not too bad. I don't go too over the top with the descriptiveness. It's no 50 Shades of Grey, but it's close. But yeah, The Third Horse books 1 and 2, order. They're on Amazon. I'll try to put a link in this at the bottom. And 10% of the proceeds of that are going to go to childhood cancer awareness. I always give to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Same thing I do with my films. Proceeds from my films go to, partially go to, that cause, because I'm all about that cause. But anyway, I'm Stephen Bastian. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.